Okay.
Okay. Okay, great. So it's nice to have you here. So maybe cybersecurity leadership and mentorship program is a program that is meant to help mentor, encourage, and demystify cybersecurity myths, making cybersecurity information very easy to understand, and you know we're trying to break up the barriers that we've got in the industry. So let's talk about cybersecurity. Let's dive right in. Um, so when you hear cybersecurity, some things come to mind. That word kind of looks vague, but you can't have cybersecurity without human being, right? What it means is we have the world. Imagine you have a ball, you have people in that ball, and you're thinking of, oh, so these people inside this ball, obviously they're human being because of what they do, the activities, how they move around, um, the phones they have access to, how they use their phone, how they use their systems. You now feel like, oh, that means the phone kind of connects to something. And what's that something? It's just like every phone has got data, right? They have internet access. Every laptop has got internet access. They can connect to the internet, and the fact that they can connect to send email, that makes everybody refer to that as the cyberspace. Just that space where you can connect as soon as you have internet connected on that device, either it's a phone or a laptop or any device, then it means you're connecting to the cyberspace, and it means you have access to that. And in any part of the world, people, other guys to have the same access, they can connect, and the good guys can also connect, the bad guys can also connect. That's the myth about what happens. And so people can connect, and you won't even know who you are probably speaking with or chatting with, right? So the act of we trying to say, let's learn and let's get to know about how to protect the cyberspace. It will start with our phone. So if you have a phone that is not connected to the internet, um, it means that people on the internet might not be able to reach it. That's what it means. It means that you are kind of protected in a way because you're exempted from any attack. So in case anybody launches an attack on the internet, so the people on the internet would experience the attack, right? But because your phone or your system is not connected, what would you have? Obviously, you'll be exempted from it. Um, there are a few things that we are supposed to pay attention to. Cybersecurity is simply saying you want to protect the cyberspace, you want to secure the cyberspace, and you also want to secure the devices that connect to the cyberspace. So, securing your phone, let's start with that. How do we ensure that your phone is protected? Your and what are you even protecting on your phone? Then that will take us to that point where we have to talk about assets. Asset is something that is of value, right? Um, One of the easiest scenario that comes to mind is your credit card or debit card. You actually don't want to lose that. And on your debit card, you have your name. So it means that even your name also is important because anyone can actually use your name for something bad and, probably have like what we call identity theft. So it's just like someone using your information where to do something that you probably didn't know about, right? So the reason you have password on your phone is so that you can secure the information from an unauthorized person. Unauthorized person saying, okay, you didn't know about this, but you didn't know about this. didn't authorize them to have access to your phone, and that's why you're passwording it. And another better way to do that is to say you have like two-factor authentication. That's for your email, right? Which before you log into your Gmail, you have your email. For that's for like your recovery email. You also have a situation where you want to log in, it will prompt you before you gain access, right? So, talking about protecting the cyberspace, it starts with you. It starts with what you are using to connect to the internet, how you protect it. And so, if on the phone you have passwords, you also look at the systems. That's also why you have passwords on the system, right? And beyond the password, there are other things that should be in place, on the system. But I am deliberate with the scenario of the phone, so everyone can actually relate to that. So you've seen situations where um, even on your phone, if you probably visit certain sites, there are certain sites, if you visit them, because you decide to visit them, they can just display an advert and ask you to click. And as soon as you click, a malware will drop on your phone, right? And what's like a malware is a special software that can be used to steal information without you knowing, right? So, and that happens so easily. That's why you find out some phones will crash. There are some sites that people are not expected to visit because if you do that, the bad guys are there. They know that people will visit that site. And at some sites you may not know. You might not know that okay, this site is infiltrated with certain things, right? But um a lot of people just visit and they can actually download stuff. And as soon as they do that, it steals, on your phone you have your mobile app, you have your internet login details. So imagine they have access to that. So you'll be sitting in your house, you'll be anywhere, and they already have your details, and they'll just log in from any part of the world and move your money into any account. It doesn't matter. So you just imagine I'm here now and I'm a bad guy and I'm able to have access to a US bank account on the maybe like one of the internet banking platform, and I'm able to move money. What do you think I will do? Even if I don't have a US account, do you think that I will look for a way to move? I'll look for an account, right? So these guys are not restricted. There are a lot of options. There are a lot of things that they can do. So in a way to protect, what we're trying to do is learn how to protect your phone. That's why on your phone you should also have antivirus in case you click on any
Mal-
thing. Yeah, so it will help you scan your phone, and nobody's exempted. Even if you are the best pen tester, security guy, if you do the same thing, they'll mess you up. Recently a news broke out just this morning. US government has been hacked again by Russian hackers, and they are currently infiltrating right now as I speak to you. Like, so things are happening. So what happens is the fact that when you buy your phone, you know how it is you have to set it up. When you set it up, the basic thing, when a normal person just set up a phone, sometimes they might not even put password on the phone. That's what happens, and they continue to use it like that. But if you are security minded or security conscious, that's the right expression, you will, pay attention to the fact that yes, there should be password. Then you also, for your email, you want to make sure you protect your email. You want to protect your, internet banking credentials. You will be careful with what you do with your phone, right?
yeah.
So that's like a concept. Now, there are ways to protect like the systems, right? There are documented list of guidelines on how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that. Yeah. So one of the things you will be doing is to research about steps on how to protect these things and all. So um and you obviously know that for the computers you connect computers to devices, and if you have like a particular location, can connect one or two computers together. So if one system, if like you have 10 systems and they're all well protected and one is vulnerable mean one is weak, meaning like one, the door of one is not locked. Like, maybe at night everybody lock their door and this one find out that their door is not locked. Guess what? Means anybody can get in, right? So the bad guys are constantly checking. They know some guys know what they're doing, some don't know, some are just playing around, and that's why they play around, visit some sites. Um, some of these bad guys I'm referring to visit some sites, they see valuable information they shouldn't have access to, they copy it, they try to do a lot of stuff with it. Meanwhile, if they're unfortunate, they probably might have been monitoring that, and that's why some of them, when the team monitoring it conduct the investigation, they will actually jail them. So also you might think that that is not applicable in Nigeria, but a lot of things are happening. People really don't know. I mean, a typical example is you in the cybersecurity space. Also, you are actually warring against the guys that are into cybercrime, and part of it is the popular BC scam. You know, and the Yahoo Yahoo thing. Yeah, I tell people that if you're into Yahoo and you're in Nigeria or outside and they've not arrested you, they will still arrest you. If you are probably just trailing you, or you have not actually um, done that particular fraud that would mess you up, or they've not reported you. So maybe some of the guys you've scammed have not reported you. If you have ever scammed anyone, if they report you, even if it takes 10 years, 5 years, now it now like becomes more easy now. Before now, those guys will not even come into Nigeria, but now they can come. They have Interpol. They, part we have the bilateral partnership thing, and you know they can visit any country. Obviously, they'll get approval of the military, DSS, and the likes, and they come in. They even pick. They come with DSS guys, come with these other guys, and they pick them. And they can actually, just like what happened to, what's this our popular guy, um, what's his name now? The guy that they picked from Dubai, who is currently serving his jail term, and that guy also kind of worked with yeah. So that guy also kind of give out some information to, so they can get some other people. So
So,
that's like, yeah. So it's about doing the right thing. It's about knowing the right thing and doing the right thing at the right time. Really, it's about keeping your own information. You need to also understand that from the standpoint where, so for me now, that's why some people would say no, their name does not matter. But let them use your name to probably, commit crime. And the next thing you would see is under the law, so people really don't understand how these things work. It's not an excuse. If they have enough evidence against you, even though you're not the person, you can actually serve that jail term. You can actually be persecuted for it and all. So it's crazy. So it's also your responsibility to protect your name. We have what we call PII, personal identification information, your name, your phone number, your email, anything attached to you, connected to you, you should guide it. I mean, if someone use it, just is you can easily relate with this. So if someone use your phone number to scam someone, you know how it is. Or let's say they arrested an armed robber, and unfortunately, maybe that person, you were just playing with your phone and you thought of one number and you thought, oh, that number is your friend's number, and you called that number. Meanwhile, the number you called, the person said is a wrong number, and sincerely is a wrong number. But that person is an armed robber. He has killed some people, went into some stuff, and they already arrested him, and they are trying to monitor people who are connected to him. Because your number is there on that list, they will come to pick that person first before they do anything. They'll pick that person first and begin their investigation to say, okay, because they are trying to track certain things, right? So that's how important it is for everyone to pay attention to, you know, your own information. So taking it further, we'll say the company's information. So you should know from your own hand certain information that are vital to you, important to you, certain information that is important to the company that should be protected, certain devices, all the devices that are there, I mean, with the company that should be protected also. All their apps, their website, and the likes, and those things. So that's something that should happen. So um, at this point, I know that this is this analysis I just gave is one of the ways I can easily demystify cybersecurity, right? Um, out there, because because of the fact that well, people will dish out information based on what they know, based on their level of experience, and based on their background, right? But there are also a lot of misleading information out there. So, but I've been able to demystify this, given all this scenario and all. So, but there's a better and a structured way of assessing cybersecurity knowledge, right? So at this point, let me hold on while you ask me questions, then I can point you in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay. Um, my question is, like you rightly said, there are novice when it comes to um data protection or information, personal information protection. Um, I know our offices they always put out a warning. Don't click on any link you don't know, or like a phishing. I know, like lead you into exposing your details unknowingly. Okay, I'm aware. Now talking about a bigger entity like US being hacked by their enemies. Yeah, Russia has once I've heard about they will hacked into the electoral system that's in the okay. Now again, are we saying that an entity as strong as USA couldn't protect their own data system enough, or somebody now, so enough? What do you think?
Yeah, so thank you. That's an interesting question. So, um, anybody can be hacked, any country can be hacked, any country can be hacked. So, it just, I mean, one of the ways to also demystify that is to say you can, on a street, you can look at five building. So, this is about physical security. So, you can look at five buildings, and if we say let us try out all the five buildings, let's see if you can beat the security of that five building. If you can deceive the security guys to look like you are their boss's PA or somebody who works for them in the office and gain access to the back of the building, you know. if you try that out, it might work, right? So you might be able to just deceive any one of them, or just use any tactics to really gain access, right? So what it means is, for the five security men, the five of them do not have the same level of knowledge in terms of awareness. As to, some of them are not as smart as, you know they, they're not on the same level in terms of security knowledge, right? And that's why you're able to beat or deceive one of them, or one of them was kind of weak at that point. So that's why it's necessary for, like, every country to pay attention to security, create awareness. But you know how it is. It starts with the country, then it starts with the regulatory body, like, let's say, like so when we say regulatory body, you know, you can have, like, maybe financial institution like the banks. You have a CBN tell all the banks that they must protect their system, and that way, when they protect their system, they're protecting customers' information, and
Yeah.
they're protecting information of Nigerians. You understand? So the same thing is applicable to, like, the US and all the countries, right? So the same thing happens where you have them say, they have regulatory body for healthcare centers, and say all of them should make sure that security is tight and all. But they don't have the same level of knowledge. It's not as if the government is going to pay anybody for anything, right? You just tell them. And all the business owners, like, imagine telling all the hospitals to make sure that they protect people's information, medical record, and all of that. But do you know that you can walk into general hospital, you can pay somebody to get out somebody's information, right? But you might also get to another place, like you get to another hospital, and maybe it might be difficult to get that kind of information, right? So that's why we say that anybody can be hacked, anybody can be weak, anybody can be vulnerable. So this is how it works, right? There are a lot of ways that they can, exploit or hack any company. So one of it is, so we have something we call patch management. The owners of the phone, okay, so let me use the Microsoft. They release what we call patches every month. That patch is like a software to say, take, install it on your system. Just download it and install it. It will protect you, because they have a team that keeps researching on how to bypass the patch that they sent last month. So as soon as they figure out that, okay, they can do this, they can bypass this, this is vulnerable, this can be weak, then they will quickly write certain codes to say this is a patch, and they send to everybody to install. If you fail to
Okay.
install it, if you, can you hear me? Yeah. So
Can you
if
hear
you
me?
fail to, yeah. So if you fail to install it, what you get
So
to have,
I lost your.
uh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you fail to install the patch that has been released by the vendor, that's like what you get. You know, the attacker can use that. So there are a lot of ways that they can send an email, someone downloads that email, download the malware, and we're talking about ransomware now. What they do is, when they download the malware, it goes into the system. It can move from one system to another, irrespective of location. So if you have, like, just let me use like a bank as an example. So if someone in the bank downloads that email, gets down into this system, it can move from that branch to another branch. You know, all the branches are connected. So I can move from Michigan to Colorado. If it's in Nigeria, from here to Port Harcourt, to Lagos, to anywhere, and I will have access to, whatever information anybody who is physically present in that location would have access to. That's how bad it is. So, but not everybody knows how to protect the system, or sometimes they have people who knows how to protect, but the company probably does not have money, or it is not a priority of the company. The management will say, oh, if it's not broken, why do you want to fix it? They've not hacked them before. They are okay. But when they hit them and they hack them, then they'll be like, what do we do? Because even the board can sack them. Anything can happen. I mean, you need to explain to the board, because board already invested money. They're giving you money that take. Money is not your problem. Do your business, make profit. Then you're coming back to tell me that they hacked you. Like, aren't you supposed to know that you should get somebody to protect the business immediately? So they stand a chance of losing their job, really. And it's always crazy. I mean, if that CEO does not have a very good rapport with the board, they will get rid of him. Very few firm between their CEO and also the security guys, if they have, or the CISO or something. So that's to answer your question. Anybody can be hacked. What is necessary is, if you have 10 systems that needs to be protected, if all the systems are protected as at now, then as at now they can be hacked. But in between, if anybody changes anything and anything happens, and you open a loophole or a vulnerability that can be exploited, then they can hack the system. Do you see? So it's so easy, and there are a lot of activities that happens even within the firm, and where that would happen. So I don't know if I've answered the question. You want to ask other questions? You can go ahead.
Cool. I'm cool. I'm cool.
Okay. So there's also um there are a couple of guidelines. I will call them. Okay, so let me go this way. So if you're going to cybersecurity, right? It's good to, because we have the technical and non-technical. It's good to start with the non-technical, because obviously, because you're not a technical person, right? But for technical guys, uh, get started with the technical things, right? So because of this, now for the technical, non-technical side of things, there are guidelines. Expert already came over, like they came from all over the world to document certain steps as regards how to do certain things, how to be certified, how to protect businesses. So and that's why when you talk about governance, risk, and compliance, is about saying you can become a non-technical cybersecurity expert, and you focus on your area of specialization will be governance, risk, and compliance, meaning that you just look at a particular document. You know that this document is for the people in the health sector. This is how they protect data. This is how they protect their company. This is what they should do. All that have been listed, they have to follow it. So what you need to do is, you know that document, you read the document, you know how to interpret it to them. They might not understand. You know, when they mention mobile device, you know that you can tell somebody with the phone and say mobile device, it means your phone, it means either your Android, because somebody might still be asking, is it Android, is it iPhone, is it Nokia? You now say it's your it's your, so you would have read it, you understand that okay, it is your mobile device. You can tell them, oh, it is not Nokia phone, because that is polyphoric, or it's not a phone that has set this feature and all. This one has this feature and that kind of thing, right? So that's sort of like your own responsibility. So you also know, oh, this particular document, pick the document, and you pick the document, and the next thing you want to do is, oh, for this document, this is for the banks, this is for the financial institution. All you need to do is, this is what you understand it like. okay, this is what should be done. So, citing an example, all of a sudden you notice in Nigeria that all the Nigerian banks suddenly started using the mantra, that door, that security door. They were not there at some point. They were not in Nigeria. It's because a regulatory standard, a regulatory body like the CBN said to the banks, follow this document and implement this. So for physical security part, they now said, okay, they have to control whosoever will come in, and so they can track things, right? So that's that's one of the reasons, and that way you would see where even some bad guys go to, know break it down to gain access into the bank. you know but so what it does is make it difficult. Your responsibility as an expert is to make it difficult for the bad guys to do their thing. Is it impossible? It is very possible for them to gain access. When they gain access, what do you do also? Is also to say, okay, you know what to do when there's an hack. There's a part of um you know recovery process, how to recover back. Maybe they've hacked your system, or your phone crashes, or your system crashes. I mean, there are ways to bring it back. Then you also know how to manage the media, meaning your stakeholders, your customers. So they have to also announce it, because there are also certain laws that says that even if you have been breached, you have to tell your customers, right? So if you are not, so if you have been breached, also you'll be fined. So a lot of things are happening. So these are some of the things that you need to learn. These are some of the things you need to know, and you can share with someone, and you'll be able to guide organizations, on how to do all these things. So, do you um get what I just shared?
No, please.
Okay. So, thank you so much for your time today. What I'm going to do is I'll share. If you don't have any other question, I'm going to share some information with you. If you cannot read, then you are not meant to be in this industry. If you cannot research, if you can't find out things, if you get tired of finding out or figuring out things, you can't. If you are the type who's stereotype, you just want to do what you want to do and you'll be there, you can't really go far. But if like you're curious, you want to know why, you want to learn more, and it's interesting, knowledge is power. Like, if you'll be so proud of yourself where you discover that, oh, you've learned something. It might just be, and learning might be, you visit a blog, because everybody also ensures that whatever information is posted out there at least would be reliable, right? Visit a blog, you read that information, read about something, you know about it, you ask about it, you investigate about it, and whatever information you get becomes like a form of knowledge, right? So
Yeah.
everybody will be glad. So, if you have questions, please proceed.
Um, you if until you send the link, for me, I can do research. I can check out some things I don't understand. Oh, and if I do not understand, I think I can discuss with.
Okay, great. So, talking about governance, risk, and compliance, there are certain standards. There's something we call standard, and there's something called framework. Standard is a set of documents. If you follow it, when you are done, somebody who was not there when you were implementing it for a company will come and audit it. There's framework, you will implement it, but nobody outside will come. Maybe you can get somebody inside your firm to, but that's how a framework is, right? So there are a lot of standards. So there's what we call Information Security Management System Standard, ISO 27001. That's a standard. There's also what we call NIST. NIST is a framework, is a cybersecurity framework. We'll talk more about this, but let us start with basic protection mechanisms and the likes. Before we get into that, I just decided to put that out there. Then, so thank you so much for your time today. Um, I want to
Thank
also confirm if you have any other question again.
no, please.
So thank you so much. Till we meet next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Uh,